Good afternoon, everyone. I saw here there are 36 participants already joining this online course, and I am pleased if in the coming short time will be added more participants. Okay, first of all, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Aline, and I am from Simolek. Currently, I'm replacing my director, who is on his way to duty and cannot make it for this session. And also, I would like to say my apologize that last week it should be the first session of our citizen journalism online course, but due to other sudden matters, unfortunately, I couldn't make it last week. And so today I will carry two sessions, the session one and session two as scheduled. So you will not miss a lot of things. Mas Ruli, can you open the session one PowerPoint?
Sudah.
Okay. So this session one will be about course overview and self-introduction. First of all, I will inform you that the objective of this course is that by following this online course, the citizen journalism, um, uh, it is expected that you will learn about the first one is of course about the understanding of what is citizen journalism, and then the second one is the principles of journalism and who can do citizen journalism. Also, you will learn about how to create your own news and report articles. This one is quite important because the last assignment, the final assignment of the course will be about creating your own news report and articles in perhaps both in written article and also news report in form of video, yeah, short video. And I will also share on how to prepare your news in a good format. And also because this online course, this C Creative Camp is conducted in English, so you will also have additional English lesson for creating news. Because if it is news or written article, it should be grammatically right, but it will not be difficult. We will try. We will have like 7 weeks of course. So along the 7 weeks, we will all learn together about how to prepare the news in a good way in English, of course. And then this course will also focus on how to act as a news presenter. So as a news presenter, what will you have to prepare? How will you be able to create your own video using your basic equipments or tools, perhaps by only using your mobile phone or laptops? It is expected that at the end of this course, your English skills would improve and that you would be able to present news in English as a citizen journalist. Next. Okay. As maybe you already know from the email information from the senior secretariat that informing you about the schedule of our online course. So there will be total 7 weeks, 7 video conference session, and today we will have session one and session two in the same time. Session one will be about course overview and self-introduction. Session two will be about show and tell. And next week we will learn about 5W1H technique, or the basic technique that you can use to create news article. And then you will also learn about principles in journalism. This one considered quite important as well. Know the ethical, the good conduct of how journalism should be. And then we will also learn about the title of the session will be my favorite thing. It will be about your interest, your hobby. You can also create articles. Maybe it's not included in news, but It will also become a great article in a magazine or in a newspaper or newsletter indicating about your interest and hobby. And we will also have a session about your hometown. Yeah, there must be some quite interesting things going on in your hometown. It can be about culinary, it can be about the local events or anything that happening in your hometown. And the last one will be about event reporting. Next slide. Okay, in this online course, the citizen journalism, the lead instructor is actually Dr. R. Alfa Amir Rahman. He is the Simolec director with the background of as a lecturer of communication, which is also journalism is one of his expertise. But in most of the time, perhaps he will not join the video conference, and I will be assisting him to deliver the materials as the assistant of this online course. Next slide, please. Okay, starting talking about citizen journalism, we will also have to start looking at the freedom of speech. This is freedom of speech is a principle that supports the freedom of an individual or a community to articulate their opinions and ideas without fear of retaliation, censorship, or legal sanction. So, when freedom of speech is delivered in the United States of America, the first term of freedom of speech, it's where people can actually express their ideas, their opinions without fear or retaliation. In a prior time, maybe people don't have this kind of freedom luxury that people are told not to speak up their minds. They tend to keep it in their own mind without telling it to the community freely. But when freedom of speech enter the world, I mean, it creates such a safe environment for people to freely speak up what is going on in their mind, what are their opinion without being censored or without no legal sanction. Next slide, please. So this course is about citizen journalism, and firstly, we all need to understand what is citizen journalism. Citizen journalism refers to all forms of public reporting carried out online. So, I mean, the concept of citizen journalism is based upon public citizens, where the public is playing an active role in the process of collecting, reporting, analyzing, and disseminating news and information. So this one is according to Bowman S. and Willis C. in the year 2003. So it's basically people, uh, public citizens playing an active role in the process of collecting, reporting, analyzing, and disseminating news and information. And the next definition about citizen journalism, according to Sonny Albrado in the very current year in 2019, in his article, citizen journalism is conducted by people who are not professional journalists, but disseminate information using website, blogs, and social media. So it is clearly defined by Sonia Albrado that citizen journalism is associated with the creation of the internet. So when the internet comes and it created such a big impact, which introduced new ways in communicating and engaging news. So any people who are connected to internet can spread out news and content to their surrounding using the internet, using the social media, mainly using the social media, website, blogs. Next slide, please. So basically everybody can do this citizen journalism. Yeah, it involves private individuals who are normally the consumer of journalism, like us, like any one of us, and then they can generate their own news content to an extent that it's include their interests, opinions, also inside their news. And then citizens collect, report, analyze, and disseminate news and information just like professional journalists. So they're doing it just like a professional journalist would do, creating what is known as user-generated content. So these amateur journalists, yeah, they produce news in many forms, ranging from a podcast editorial to a report about a city council meeting on a blog, and it's usually digital in nature. So the form will be digital. That's why it can easily spread out using the using the internet. It can also include text, picture, audio, and video. It's not only text or only video, it can be a combination of them all. Social media plays a major role in disseminating news and promoting citizen journalism content. So social media plays a very important role in the emergence of the citizen journalism. Since the general public has 24/7 access to technology, so citizens are often the first on scene for breaking news. They get these stories out more quickly than traditional media reporters. Usually, we get information not from the local TV or the national TV. Usually, we find out the news information, the most updated information from Facebook, from Instagram. We get the information first before it is being broadcasted in a national media. That's because internet has the power of 24/7 access, yeah, by the citizens. So, however, unlike professional journalists, these citizen journalists may not have conduct the same background research and source verification, which can make these leads less reliable. So this is when hoax came out because there is no background research and source verification as it should be, where the professional journalist would do. This can make the news less reliable. Next, please. So before I continue my explanation, let us watch a video from Lila King from CNN.com about what it means by a citizen journalism. This is a quite short video, but let's take a look together.
Citizen journalism comes from people who are not professional journalists, who don't do journalism for a living. But I think more than that, and probably more importantly, the difference between citizen journalism and more traditional professional journalism is that very often citizen journalism comes from people who are right in the heart of a story and are seeing it through their own eyes and through their own experience and telling, in many cases, a first-person intimate view of an event as it happens. And I personally find that the most compelling and interesting aspect of citizen journalism.
Okay, that's a quite short video. Later, I will provide the link in the website of citizen journalism in a C Creative Camp 4 website. You can access and play the video all over again for your understanding, for better understanding. Okay, so in this session 1, we will all learn about the definition of citizen journalism, and I will also have this session about self-introduction. Why self-introduction is important? Because this is like the basic skill that you need to have to be a news presenter or to be a journalist. Before you interview someone, you should be able to introduce yourself. What do you say when you meet someone new? So introduce yourself, of course. Introducing yourself is much more than just saying your name. You need to tell some more information about you in English. Introducing yourself to strangers can be tricky because what you say depends on the context and situation. It's not only saying your name because you need to tell other people in a short way that he can grab the information about you without taking too long time. So there are basically like some common points that you must memorize about yourself. So when it comes to self-introduction, you can do it very well. So I also have this video about self-introduction. This is like the very easy way. I tried to find the most easy reference video that you can refer to when giving self-introduction. Please, Masruli, play the video.
Hey everyone, I'm Alex. Thanks for clicking and welcome to this beginner lesson on how to talk about yourself. So, like I mentioned, this is a great lesson for beginner students who want to build their confidence in English. And you can do this by learning some of the most common sentences you make when discussing yourself to other people. So, this includes things like giving a greeting, mentioning your name, your age, your nationality, your origin, your profession, your location or where you live, your likes and your dislikes. So in this video, I will talk about myself, and in the second part of the video, I am going to introduce one of my special friends and talk about them. So to begin, for a greeting, you can just say hi, hello, or hey, depending on how formal or informal you want to be. So after, introducing yourself to someone and saying hi, hello, they will probably ask what your name is, or you can volunteer your name, give your name. So I would say, hey, I'm Alex, just like I do at the beginning of all of my videos. Or I can say, my name is Alex. And this is another way to obviously mention your name, what you are called. Next, I would mention my age. So I can talk about how old I am. And in English, we say, I am, and then you list your age. Personally, I am 34 years old. If this is true, not true, I don't know. Up to you to decide. In some languages, you say, I have plus your age. In English, use the verb to be. I am 34 years old. He is 26 years old. She is 37 years old. Okay? Make sure you use the verb to be for your age. Next, I am Polish Canadian. This is my nationality. So you can say, I am Brazilian, I am American, I am Colombian, I am Croatian, whatever your nationality is. I was born in Poland. This is my origin, so the place where my mom gave birth to me. So you can say, I was born in maybe your country or a different country. So I have a friend who is Portuguese, lives in Canada, but he was born in France. It's weird, but it can happen. Next, my profession, I am a teacher. It's very important when you talk about your profession in English to use an article before the profession. So here you see, I am a teacher, not I am teacher. I am a teacher. I am an engineer. He is a professor of psychology. Okay? Always, always, always mention an article with your profession. Next, my location. Where do I live? I live in Montreal, Quebec. Okay? And you can say, hey, I live in Bogota, or I live in Rio de Janeiro, or I live in Caracas, Venezuela. It's possible too. Next, I like reading, photography, and yoga. These are my likes. So, what do you like? You can say, I like books. I like movies. I like, I don't know, painting maybe. And finally, I don't like high places. You can also say heights. So, in general, I don't like heights. I feel very nervous when I go to Toronto, Ontario, and I go to the top of the CN Tower and look down. They have a glass floor. I can't step on the glass floor for very long because I feel very nervous, very anxious. I don't like high places. Now, if you think that this is something that is easy, that's okay. Even if you're an intermediate or advanced student, using sentences like these can still help you to build your confidence and to improve your pronunciation. Specifically, when you say these things, you're supposed to be focusing on making them fluent and quick. So now I'm going to ask you some questions and I want you to answer, okay, with your own personal information. For example, I will ask, what's your name? And you will say, my name is, You're talking to your computer screen. You're talking to me. Look around. Is anyone watching you? Are you in a computer lab? Are you at home? Are you on the bus? If you're on the bus, maybe don't do this exercise. But if you're in a safe place where people will not look at you weird, come, do this exercise with me. So let me ask you, and you answer it clearly, quickly, confidently. What's your name? How old are you? What's your nationality? Where are you from? What do you do? Where do you live? What do you like? What don't you like? Okay, so when you do this type of activity, like I mentioned, it can help to develop your confidence, your pronunciation, your general fluency in English. Now, I'm going to introduce you to one of my friends, and we'll learn a little bit about him.
Okay, Mas Ruli,
Come on,
maybe we can
Steve.
skip
Don't be
the
shy.
video first.
That's it. That's it.
Okay, now we can switch to the PowerPoint again. Okay, so that was the information that we get about self-introduction from the video. Later, I will also put the link of the video from YouTube that we watched together in the website of C Creative Camp 4. You may check it out later. Basically, from the video that we watched together, Alex, the guy in the video, mentioned that there are at least 9 basic or common points in self-introduction. And the 9 points are greeting, name, age, nationality, origin, profession, location, likes and dislikes. These 9 basic or common points is not a must. You may pick whatever you like, whatever you think is sufficient, or you may also add another common points to give about your self-introduction. But usually when it comes to self-introduction, you don't talk about yourself that long before other people ask you or question you. In a summary, perhaps you can use this 9 common points by Alex. This technique is quite good. I think it's also can be used by students when they need to give a self-introduction in front of the class. So that's all about this session one, we still have session two, but before we move on to the second session, I will open the question and answer session about the first session. So so far we have learned about the course overview. What is it? Citizen journalism. What is citizen journalism? Who can do it? And the emergence of citizen journalism, why it's happening, and then I also share about how to give self-introduction. That is the two main points of our session today. If you have any question, I will be pleased to answer before we enter in the second session. Please. You can use the chat box. I will give 2 minutes of time for you. If you have a question, I will post this session first before we enter to the next, the session 2 about show and tell. Okay. Also, I need to inform you that at the end of session 2, I will have a small quiz for you to do. The quiz will be 10 questions, and it's not going to be graded for you. It's just to check your comprehension level of session 1 and session 2 that I already explained. Later, I will inform the link, and also you may find the link in website of the C Creative Camp, the official website of C Creative Camp 4. There will be a quiz. It's just true and false statement you can choose in the quiz, and that will be information only for me to know whether you comprehend the information that I gave in the session 1 and session 2. Okay, here I have question from Naura. I want to ask, what is the difference between self-introduction in a vlog and citizen journalism video? Okay, basically the introduction will be more or less the same information that you deliver, but maybe in a vlog, in a personal vlog, if you have it, usually for like teenagers, they will do it in a very informal way. As long as it is using a polite word, a good word, it will be okay. But in citizen journalism, because you're doing journalism and you want other people to take your news or your articles or your the things that you present in your video to take it seriously, so you might want to do it in a more formal way rather than what you have in your blog. So uh, make it easy. In a vlog, it will be less formal, and in citizen journalism video, it will be more formal. Okay, I will also open the question and answer session later after the session 2. So for now, let's just continue to session 2 about show and tell. Mas Ruli, please can you open the PowerPoint for the session 2? Okay. A second. So now we are in a session 2. I will share about show and tell. This is one of the technique that you will also need to have when doing news presentation or news video. So basically, before we start into the show and tell, I would like to share to you about the 4 speaking skills. Yeah. I hope you are still full of spirit, yeah, to learn about the citizen journalism and to improve your ability to report news in English. So it is a common desire for all of us to be able to speak English well, of course. So to do this, we need to know what skills are required to become a good speaker. So there are at least 4 speaking skills that we all need to develop. The first one is fluency. Fluency is about how comfortable and confident you are in speaking English. So if you can speak for example, for like 5 minutes of time, so that is an indicator of strong fluency. It is also about showing a clear connection between each point that you are trying to make. This skills means that the listener can understand, can follow what you are saying, and they don't get lost. So the first one is fluency, yeah. The second one is vocabulary. Of course, if you don't have the words to say what you want to say, then you cannot say it. Being a good speaker means constantly growing your vocabulary. The more interesting words you know, the stronger your speaking skills. So you need to make sure that you learn to add your vocabularies, and the best way to grow your vocabulary is to read in English. Yeah, make sure you read article, news, books in English, and make a note of any new words that you find in a vocabulary notebook. So when you find out yourself the meaning of the words that you don't understand, you will possibly you will remember it better. Then start reading in English textbooks and start creating a notebook which include the vocabularies that you don't understand. The third skills is the grammar, of course. Yeah, grammar does matter, yeah, and the fewer mistake you make, the better your speaking skill will be. Especially in the citizen journalism, you may want to use the correct grammar. Instead of making mistakes in using grammar, you can always use easy grammar. Yeah. So however, do not worry about making mistake either, because a good speaker does not have to use perfect grammar, certainly. It is a good idea to make sure that you have mastered the major tenses. So just like the tenses that we usually use, you don't have to like master all the 16 tenses. The last one is about pronunciation. Yeah, pronunciation is a very complex area because it has like a lot of sub skills that can be practiced. The basic rules is that an average speaker can speak and be understood. That's the basic rule. The principles in communication is that your audience understand what you are speaking. So a skilled speaker can use the sub skills of pronunciation to emphasize and make the communicative effect of their speech more impactful. So the sub skill of pronunciation include word and sentence stress. So in a part of your information, you might want to put stressing in some word or sentence to make people people, to make your audience grab the information that you want to deliver. Intonation also important. Yeah? The rhythm and the use of the individual sounds of a language. Yeah? And a good way to practice your pronunciation is to copy. Simply listen to how someone with good pronunciation speaks and try to imitate them as closely as possible. You can also use songs. Yeah, it will be easier for you to learn pronunciation from songs, especially the songs that you like from your favorite singer. You can also watch the movie or series in English without subtitles, and you can like pause and play. You can copy the pronunciation. Simply do that like maybe 15-30 minutes a day, every day. Amazingly, you will be amazed of how your pronunciation will get better by doing that easy regular things. Next. Okay, so we are getting back to the citizen journalism. So citizen journalism mostly it must strive to keep the significant, interesting, and relevant. Why I put these two words, interesting and relevant? Because journalism is basically storytelling with a purpose. Yeah, so it's not just storytelling. It's not just some sharing about stories, but it has a purpose. It should do more than gather an audience or catalog that important. It has to balance what readers know, what they want, with what they cannot, but still anticipating their needs. Yeah. So, in other words, part of the journalist's responsibility is to provide information in such a way people will want to listen. So if your information is kind of boring, people would not want to listen to whatever you deliver. So you, as a journalism, as a journalist, I mean, one of your responsibilities is to provide information that is interesting enough to make people want to listen to your news. And then also, journalists must strive to make the significant, interesting, and relevant. So the information must both engage its audience and enlightens the audience. So the principle that's this is the two words that I put here. It should be interesting but still relevant to the audience. Next slide, please. Yeah, now we enter the information about show and tell. Yeah, so one of practicing the storytelling skills is usually being adopted in a classroom activity. It's called show and tell. It's basically the practice of showing something to an audience and telling them about it, about what is this that you show to the audience. In the United Kingdom, in America, in New Zealand, in Australia, it is a common classroom activity. Yes, show and tell is a common classroom activity at early elementary school. So the teacher used that technique, the show and tell technique, to teach young children the skill of public speaking. For example, a child, they will bring an item from home. And they will explain to the class why they choose that particular item, where they got it, and other relevant information about the thing that they show in front of the classroom. It can be in form of toys, food, book, or other things that the kids interest. Yeah, that is of the kids' interest. So. It is a very common technique actually to make the kids, the children, practice public speaking. So other classmates will listen to their show and tell. They will perform in front of the class, and other will listen to them. And also, I have this cute video, yeah, about the elementary school students doing the show and tell. Please, Mas Ruli, can we watch together?
Who likes basketball?
I like football and basketball and soccer.
Okay, then you're my man.
Show and tell is where you bring a toy and show. That's why it's called showing it. And the tell part is that you tell them about it and they can ask questions. That's why it's called show and tell. Let's get started, people. Open your eyes. This is one of my favorite toys. I named it Yellow Bear because it's yellow and it's a bear. Sometimes in the morning I play dress up with him and I dress it up. Who'll give it to you? My dad. Is it a boy or a girl? It's a boy.
Is it always yellow?
Yes. Does anyone want to touch it? Me. Okay, we'll go around in a circle. Ooh, there's that. This is so heavy. Come back here, teddy bear.
I could carry him with probably one finger.
Probably not. No, you can't. Is there any more questions? Elena? I forgot.
Bye, yellow bear.
Open.
I have these cars. And this one I like to introduce because it's Lightning McQueen. It has one of my favorite colors spread in a little orange. Crystal.
The lightning ever got broken?
It has a rip sticker. This is Maynard. Who? Maynard?
M-A-T-E-R. You're saying M-A-N-E-R.
Maynard.
How long have you had those toys?
I got this one, I think when I just turned 3, and this one when I was 2. Because I got this one for this one.
I love these guys.
Bye Now one's puking. These are my basketball players. This one is Stephen Curry. I have on his jersey right now. And this one is Russell Westbrook. I have about 20 of them. My grandma buys them for me for my birthday and Christmas. Okay, question time.
You got a ball.
I think everyone comes with a ball, but I lose them everywhere.
Krista, did you break any of them?
Long story, okay. Next question. Ethan? The first time. Who? Wait, I forgot. Any more questions? Do you want to touch it?
Yes.
How much it cost? I don't know. I think they're cheap.
I'm turning the leg. Thank you, Justin.
What's this?
This is my dolphin. It's really adorable, and I got for my 6th birthday.
Okay, so that's basically about the show and tell. So it's a very fun way of learning English, usually about public speaking, and you can do it with your friends in small group and taking turns showing them whatever you want to show them that is of your interest. It might make the practice will be like more interesting, and because you do it in a fun way, and in the other side you also learn how to speak, how to do public speaking in a fun way. So next, yeah, here I have also an explanation about an expert. His name is Dan Rome. He is an expert of show and tell. So according to Dan Rome, that this show and tell is not only a technique for kids. Yeah, show and tell can also be an effective method for grown-ups. Yeah, for teenagers or grown-ups. Yeah, to create story, to create. Usually for entrepreneurs, it is also will be good to create product knowledge and to market the products or services to a certain target market. Yeah. So Dan Rome, in his book entitled Show and Tell, How Everybody Can Make Extraordinary Presentation, the book was released in 2016. there are three basic rules for making an extraordinary presentation. So the first one is tell the truth. Yeah, lead with the truth, and the heart will follow. The second one is tell it with a story. So you lead with a story, and understanding will follow. The third one is to tell the story with pictures. Lead with the eyes, and the mind will follow. So in his book, Dan Rome also emphasized that visualization plays an important factor in presentation. That's why he used pictures, yeah, in the story, because he believed that visualization is the oldest technology. Thousand years ago, our ancient ancestors recorded their story on the walls of caves. Yeah, they draw horse, tigers, rhinos, people. Yeah, they draw it in the caves, in the walls of the caves, and our ancestor had knowledge that they need to share with each other, and lessons that they need to remember. That's why they use pictures. That's why they draw the uh, on the wall of the cave, so that later their son, their grandson, the daughter and granddaughter can also see the recording and the sharing moments that they want the the kids and the grandkids to know. So now we are 20,000 years later. The pictures begin to evolve into written language. So we use our alphabet. That's also sign of visualization. Yeah, but here in Dan Rome book, he refers to pictures. Yeah, so Dan Rome mentioned that visualization is also our is not only our oldest technology, it's also our newest technology. So the last 5 years, yeah, we have seen new visual revolution in social media, yeah, in Facebook, YouTube, printers, Instagram, Snapchat, you name it, yeah, Tumblr, Vine, and everything. It has exploded into our what you call popular culture, yeah, and making their way into the business world. So it can be summarized with one word, with pictures. Yeah. As an impact, the entire personal and business conversation is becoming visual. People get more interest to look at pictures, to look at video rather than to read text. Yeah, and not only for the data, but also like the story. In some comics, yeah, you find small children or teenagers love to read comics rather novel, yeah, because it has pictures in it. So another reason is that the human brain, yeah, according to a research, human brain understand visual better. This is uh, a statement by Dr. Leo Chalupa. Yeah, he is a professor in neurobiology at the University of California. He said that more of the brain is devoted to vision and visual processing than to any other known function, including language. So the neurons in our human brain are involved in vision than is the case of all other sensory modalities combined. So yeah, according to this professor, our human brain basically understand visual better. Yeah. So then Rome also have a video in YouTube, but it's quite long. It's like 45 minutes video long, and you might want to watch it later after this session. You can search in YouTube using the word Dan Rome Show and Tell. You will find him talking in a Google conference. Yeah. Okay, next. So when it comes to creating your own news video later, you will need a script writing. You will need to write a script. Why? Why do you need to write a script? Because a script is a story that you can use to guide you in making a news report. Yeah. The meaning of a scenario or a script, yeah, basically a story describe the sequences of scenes places, circumstances, and dialogues, which are arranged in the context of a dramatic structure. So the main function of script is, as I told you earlier, is to serve as working guide in making movies or films. Yeah, usually it's for movies or films, but in our case, this is to create your news report. So you will know to present the news in a sequence that you want your audience to understand. So if you have the script, it will be easier for you to present it and to make it in a effective time so that people will get your information in a short time. And then every scene should represent the dialogue and visual language to explain the scene's display. What does it mean? So, it means that a script is a story format which is very limited by ability to visualize and also limited by time for characters to do dialogue on the screen. So basically, you will need script. You will need to write a script to guide you in making your news report later on. You will have to master to understand how to create a good script writing. Next, please. Also, here are I put. Actually, there are many list of terms in terms. Regarding to citizen of journalism. But here I would only share 10 of them, which I consider quite important for you to understand. So the first one is anchor. An anchor is a person who presents a news bulletin from a television studio. So the news reporter that you saw on the TV, that's in a TV studio, yeah, not on the place or where an event take or happen. Usually on a regular basis, yeah, you saw in the news that the gentleman and a lady in a studio, in a TV studio, they call anchors. The second one is angle. This is the short for news angle. Yeah, usually they call it just angle. It is aspect of a story which a journalist chooses to highlight and develop. For example, like in a local city, for example, they have like a celebration or an event. Which angle you would like to choose to highlight in your news, where it is economically that how the event contribute in the economy of the city, or maybe you want to choose the angle of culture, how the culture is being performed in that event. There are many angle in one event that you can choose to highlight and to develop as your news. So the third one is attribute. This is to identify who said something, either as a quote or as a reported speech. So a good news should attribute whatever opinions from others or quote from others to be. The news should mention clearly where is the quote or the statement is coming from. That's called attribute. The fourth one is blind interview. Blind interview is a published interview where the interviewee is not named. For example, like a senior official in a city mention that this crime is blah 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 blah. So you do not mention the name, you just say a senior official or a senior citizen. You just mention the job of the person who, because it's a blind interview, you cannot name the interviewee. And then the next one is news value. The quality, this is the quality or the criteria that journalists use to evaluate whether an event, development, or opinion is worthy of preparing and presenting as news. Yeah. The criteria include whether it is new, it is unusual, whether it is interesting or significant, and whether it is about people. Usually, these 5 things is what do you call, is include in a criteria that the news has value. It should be new, it should be unusual, it should be interesting, it should be significant, or it should be about people. These 5 things, if you have it in a news, it has a high quality news value. Okay, and then this the next one is mugshot. A mugshot is a head and shoulder photograph of a person facing the camera. So if a director said, we take a mugshot, it means that you will have a head and shoulder photograph of a news reporter facing the camera. The next one is multimedia. This is the way of presenting a subject using different types of media, like video, audio, text, and images in combination. They call it multimedia. Number 8 is media release. This is also called press release. Yeah, usually the information sent to the media prior to a press conference. Yeah, to give them information about maybe an organization or an event or an issue, or when they want to share some news, some promotion, or if they have any product or new service. And then the number 9 is media conference. Yeah, this is also called as press conference, yeah, or a news conference, when reporters are gathered together to question someone in the news. Yeah, usually they take turns to ask questions to the interviewee. This gathering usually organized by an individual or company to deal with all the media in one session or to promote a new product or service. They usually give a media release prior to the interview, so they would know what to ask, and it will also guide them when they create the articles, the news articles. The last one is insert. This is additional tags inserted into a story after it has been written, usually to give additional details. For example, like when the story is telling about the earthquake, yeah, it has also insert the caption or the short story after it has been written, and it will give like additional details to the story so the audience will understand it better. Okay, next. This is bitgap.com. If you some of you has already familiar with this website, yeah. I usually use this bitgap to learn to improve my English using news or video in English. Yeah, you can easily reach the platform using www.bitgap.com, and you simply create a account like you do in Facebook or Instagram. Once you have the account, you can easily practice your English by using various quizzes in written. You can also practice your listening. You can also practice your reading in this website. Mas Ruli, can you please pass me so I can share? Okay, I will share. Okay, here is what it's look like when you access the www.bitgap.com. Sorry, Mas Ruli or Mas Pur, was my screen is already displayed now?
Yes.
Okay. So here, if you access www.bitgap.com, they will request you to log in or to sign up. Yeah. If you don't have it, you can using this button, student sign up or teacher sign up. Yeah. Okay, I will try to log in using my account. If you already have the account, you simply log in and you will view this as your home page, yeah, as your home. And then here you can see learn English with news, learn English with movie, learn English with songs. There are many ways for you to start learning. And here you can see quizzes and posts. Usually I use this quiz to practice simple English, yeah. But maybe in this time I will suggest you to use this one. Learn English with news. There are lots of news video here, which you can choose any of them. For example, I will choose this one. Indonesia earthquake and tsunami kills hundreds. So they have the video here. You will have to watch and understand it. If you miss the information, you can simply pause and play again the video anytime you want. And then here they have the question. The question is based on the news presented in this video. So you will have to understand first the video and then you start answering the question here. Right after you finish all the question, you can submit your answer and it will show you whether you answer it correctly or wrongly. And if you answer like this, if you answer wrongly, they will tell you the correct answer. It's that easy actually, but you will be able to understand how to carry or to deliver the news in a good way, because there are many kinds of news video here. This is about New Zealand gun reform, yeah. The latest news is also here. Okay, Mas Ruli, back at you to our PowerPoint.
Please pull my screen.
Yes, please share the
Screen. Okay, white.
Okay, next slide. Nah, this is the quiz that I informed you before, yeah. The Google form is in format of Google form. You can access through this link. You may also visit the website creativecamp4.simeo.org. Please make sure that you have this website, because all the video, all this presentation, and the recording of these 2 sessions will be available there, including this quiz. Yeah, I will also put it in that website, but perhaps you can access it like tomorrow. It will be available there, and also this PowerPoint for session 1 and session 2, I will put it there. So you can get the information and you can relearn whatever we have learned today. And I think that's all. Yeah, I think that's all. If you have any question, please feel free to ask me in the chat field. Yeah. So if I may summarize, yeah, like in the first session, I will also summarize our session 2 about show and tell. We have learned about the 4 speaking skills. Yeah, I mentioned about fluency, vocabulary, grammar, and pronunciation. And then after that, we also learn about the significance on how to keep the news interesting and relevant. And then I also share about show and tell technique on how to practice your public speaking. It's a very fun way of practicing public speaking, as well as to increase your confidence and your fluency in speaking in front of public. And also I shared about Show and Tell by Dan Rome. It is he is an expert of show and tell, which you can also later access his video in YouTube. You can simply search Show and Tell by Dan Rome in YouTube, and you can find the video in Google Conference. And then we also have learned about script writing. What is the meaning of script writing, and why do you need a script or a scenario to create your news? And we also have learned 10 terms, yeah, in journalism, the common 10 term list of terms that we have learned together. And we also have shared, I also have shared about bitgap.com. It's a very fun way. You should try, create an account and access all the quizzes that they provided there. And also I have the quiz that it will be provided in the website. Okay, here is I got a question from M. Hyungster. Yeah, how does citizen journalism mess with traditional media? You mean mess? You mean being destructive? If you mean being destructive, actually, the citizen journalism is open to public because the emergence of internet. You cannot stop people for creating their opinions, for sharing their ideas and thoughts through internet. It will not mess with the traditional media because traditional media is considered as professional journalism. They are more trusted. How somehow people will trust traditional media compared to the citizen journalism. But instead of being destructive, you can contribute through citizen journalism to add up information about the news that the media covers. You may find, for example, when an earthquake happening, if some people use their handphone or the mobile phone to create a short video to show how the earthquake is happening in the first time, the shoot or the video will not be shown by the traditional media because they were not there, but the people in that area will be able to have that video, and they can contribute to add up the information given by the traditional media. That should the citizen journalism have function, yeah, in terms of delivering information or the news. I hope my explanation is quite clear for you. And the next one, how to become a good citizen journalism. Okay, so along the 7 sessions that we have in this citizen journalism course, I will share you how step by step on how to create or how to become a good citizen journalism, how to create news, how later on we will learn how you will use the good and interesting title to engage the attention of your audience. So by only using a catchy word in a title, it will also make people want to read your news or your articles and your video. But also we have to be reliable in terms of creating the news, not only to insert our opinion, but also to put the fact as it is. So it will be, because nowadays we have so many hawks, so many false news that can lead us to a wrong judgment. Yeah, we cannot just trust any information that we gather from the internet. We should check and recheck we should do more research about it. Okay, I got also question from Fajar Daulay. I'm Fajar from Indonesia. I am late, so I lost my information. What must our team do so that we can fulfill the duty? Okay, Fajar, please check the website, the creativecamp4.simeo.org. I will put my presentation, this video recording, the quiz, the video references there, so you can you and your team can learn together from there. Okay. How to make a good title and a good news? Yeah, we will learn about it later. Yeah, not in this session. We will have 5 more sessions about it. Yeah, okay. And don't forget, yeah, I will remind you again to do the quiz. There will be only 10 questions. It's a true or false statement. It will not be graded to your it will not be added to your grade or your team grade. It will only provide me information whether you comprehend the information I delivered in session 1 and session 2. You are free to open the internet to search for the answers. Okay, if there's no more question, I'll see you again next week with session 3. Okay, and I will check your comprehension on the quiz result. Yeah, please for the quiz link, it's already provided in the website and it's a Creative Camp, but I will need more time to upload any other materials that I delivered today. Thank you so much. Thank you for your attention, for being an active participants. Currently, I checked there are 61 or now 57 participants. It's a very good start for this online course. I hope next week it will be more participants attending this course. Thank you so much for your attention. See you again next week. Bye.